What up, you rack bastards? It's that time again. It's This Week in Rack, and this one's going to be a little more intense than usual. I have spent the last night and full day thinking about whether or not I really wanted to do This Week in Rack this week. And that's because, what's the big thing this week, guys? That's right, it's the election. So we are going to be talking about that today. I do deem that it be important enough for me to mention here. But before we get into that, we're going to talk a little bit about the channel and some new ideas that have popped up and some changes that are going to be made. I know the other day with the last This Week in Rack, I did talk about getting back into some Let's Plays that we've been kind of ignoring for a while. But I have decided against that recently, going over our analytics and checking some stuff out because some of my favorite YouTubers get me to think about shit like that, like with my YouTube challenge video. And come to find out, these videos that I do here, like this, are much more popular than my Let's Plays. So apparently you guys like watching this stuff a little bit more than I thought. So with that, I have decided that I am going to step back from the Let's Plays a little bit. I'll still do them every now and then, but they're just not going to be as often. But I decided I'm going to focus more on this kind of video, the vlogging style, the talking and rambling and dealing with shit that's important to me and things that are going on in my life and whatnot like that. So, that being said, Daddy-Daughter Let's Plays are now officially a thing. That has been an overwhelming success, and my daughter thanks you all very much for your support. So we will be releasing those every Friday from now on, and we are very excited to be doing this. So with that being said, now that you know that I'm going to be focusing more on this, I'm gonna start a new series too, where I'm going to be talking about the single father being a YouTube sort of thing and how we balance all of that and how me and my daughter get along and whatnot, and just kind of talk parental fatherly stuff and how it all intermingles and becomes one entity. So that'll be coming here shortly. I just got to figure out exactly what I want to put in that first episode to get a good start on it. It's going to take a little bit of thought. So yeah, now let's move right into the next thing, and I honestly think, without a doubt, the most important thing we can actually talk about this week, and that's the election. And holy shit, what a clusterfuck it has been. Now, I don't need to say who I voted for. You don't need to say who you voted for, because it's really not important. Your choice is your choice. My choice is my choice. And this is okay. We're allowed to have a difference in opinion. But what I have seen ever since it was announced that Trump is to be our 45th president is nothing but vile garbage being spit back and forth about how terrible of a decision it is and how awful people are for voting it. If you didn't vote for Hillary, you're a sexist, you're a misogynist, you're transphobic. And it's really an awful thing. Everybody acts like Trump is going to start World War III. Like, the second he takes office, if you're gay or transsexual or, anything like that, that you're automatically going to be put on a fucking list and a death squad is coming for you. And that's not the damn case. It's really not. I mean, granted, I don't agree with a lot of what he says, and I don't. But I don't agree with a lot of what Hillary said either, and I didn't agree with a lot of what Bernie said. I didn't like a lot of what Jill Stein said or any of the rest of them. But I still had to make a choice, and I did. And I feel comfortable with my choice, and you should feel comfortable with your choice too. Now, the hard part about this situation is we got to understand, in every situation like this, there's going to be winners, there's going to be losers. But guess what? Life will carry on. I mean, I'm watching the news, and I'm seeing riots in Seattle, riots in Portland, riots here in California, people talking about wanting to leave the fucking U.S., people fucking just saying some of the most vile shit to each other, all because their candidate didn't win or their candidate did win. And what's the point? What's the point? You want to know what the problem here is, people? It's not Trump. It's not Hillary. It's us. It's us. How can we sit there and say that Trump's the problem when we as a people are the ones saying these horrible things and doing these horrible things and destroying property for people that supported the same candidate as you? I mean, what is wrong with this picture? What has gone wrong in our heads in this country in the last decade that we have gotten to this point? It's not the candidate. It's the people. And we need to remember that. We are making these choices. We choose what hurtful things get said, and we choose what dangerous things get done. And it doesn't matter. Like I said, if you voted for Hillary or you voted for Trump or whoever, it doesn't matter. The decision has been made. It's the next 4 years. It's not the end of the world. Our country is not going to fall apart. We're still going to be here. We're still going to pick up the pieces. And who are we to say? Maybe the choice is going to make some good changes. We don't know. We assume, but we don't know. Only time will tell. Now, I'll admit, I've set out some memes, and I thought they were funny, and we got a good laugh out of them. But in the end, no threats were made. Everybody laughed, everybody moved on with their day. But a lot of what I'm seeing being spread around social media and the news is just hateful carnage. And I have never in my life seen an election that has gone so south. And the problem does lie with us. The problem lies with us. It's nobody else's fault. We are choosing to act like this. This overwhelming sense of entitlement in this generation. The special snowflakes, they're afraid to get their feelings hurt and not see a different point of view. Not everything's going to go your way in life. That's the point of life. You're going to get knocked down. You're going to get pushed to the dirt. It happens to everybody. What you do with that is what makes you who you are and what makes America great. It's not a candidate. It's not the president who does this. It's us. It's how we choose to deal with it. And this carnage, this vomit soup that's being spread, the word vomit, it's being spread everywhere. It's not helping. How are we supposed to sit there and say that Trump is dividing the country when Trump is not? We're dividing ourselves. We chose to do this. We need to understand that we need to work together no matter who's in charge, okay? The vote has been made. The majority have voted, and the Electoral College has chosen. It is Donald Trump, and that's going to be Donald Trump for the next 4 years. What we do at that time, what we do, will determine where our country goes. We still have choices to make. We still have votes to make for other situations, for other things. We got to remember, our government answers to us, and if we were ever to stop and think about that and band together peacefully and work together for a common goal, hell, shit might get done. Let's remember that. And I would just like to say that it doesn't matter. And I've lost many friends today over this. I've lost a handful, over 15. All because of who I voted for, which is why I don't usually talk about who I vote for, and I don't talk about my politics, because it doesn't matter. Somebody's always going to be offended, and somebody's always going to get butthurt, and somebody's always going to cut ties because of it. I lost some very good friends from this. And it's not on my part. They chose. Because they didn't like my choice. Because they pushed me to talk about my choice. And this is a really sad thing. These are people I've been friends with for decades. And suddenly they're not around anymore because I didn't bow down to their decision, because I think differently than they do. And that's sad. That's sad. What makes America great is the fact that we do all think differently. We all do, and that's great. Individuality. Follow your own thoughts. Follow your own, feelings. That's a wonderful thing. But to sit there and preach that somebody is so hateful and deceitful and terrible, when we automatically turn around and say and the same things that we're complaining that he's going to do, which he hasn't even done yet. And I'm not trying to, say that, Trump's going to be a great president. Time will tell. I don't know. But really, think about it. Look at the news. Watch yourselves. Think about it. Who's the monster here? We kind of are. And it's us as a whole. Every one of us is guilty. I've sent out some memes that I thought were funny that probably upset some people, and I shouldn't have. People are saying some things that may sound important now, but guess what? A little bit from now, a couple months down the road, they're going to be thinking, well, maybe that was a little intense. Maybe I should have rethought that. So I want you guys to think about that. The next time you guys decide to talk politics or complain that you're leaving the country, or look at your best friend and tell them what a worthless piece of shit they are, that they're misogynistic or sexist or fucking transphobic, all because they didn't vote for somebody you like, or that you're down with a criminal and that you're just as deceitful as she is. This kind of stuff will not help us. It will not. We need to put this shit aside. The election is over and done with. The choice has been made and we're stuck with it. It's what we make out of it. I just felt it was important for you guys to think about this, because tempers run rampant and people stop thinking, and that's where these kind of problems come in, is when people stop thinking logically and stop thinking about the future. Everybody says, oh, well, we are thinking about the future. This is going to be terrible. Well, no, you're not. You're still thinking about the right now. You haven't seen what the future is going to be. Help make it a better place. If you think Trump's that bad, then you know what? When other elections come up and bills come into play and things like that, and we finally get a say in things, vote. The vote is important, and the vote does matter. And your voice does get heard. So for all the jokes I've made about this in the last day and a half, I apologize. And you know what? Maybe you need to look at your friend and you need to apologize too. Maybe you both do. I don't know. These are just my thoughts. But maybe it's time we kind of talk to each other instead of scream and yell and cuss and say terrible things. That's just me. Maybe I'm wrong. But that's all I really have to say about this. I've been rambling on for about 13 minutes now, and I don't want to waste any more of your time, and I really don't want to talk about this election again. I want to see things turn around. I want to see things get better, and I want to see what happens. I want to see what the future brings. So that's what I'm going to do right now. But a new thing I'm going to do with This Week in Rakk, and that is at the end of every one of these videos, I want to leave with something, kind of nice and important, and not necessarily about me or about something terrible. So I'm going to do a shout out at the end of every one of these videos with a YouTuber that I hang out with and I watch and that I think is worth the time. And this one I'm going to go with the three-headed hydra, and I would really like you guys to go check them out and show them some love. I'll leave a description in a link in the description box below. And if you guys have anything to say about anything I've talked about in this video today, please leave it down in the comments below, whether it be about the change in the channel, the direction I'm going to take my content, or, if you want to talk about the election, I will not censor my comment section. Everybody's allowed to say their piece, but let's keep it civil. Let's have an actual conversation. If you just want to cuss, spit, or sput and, spit nonsense, then just stay away. But if you want to have an actual conversation with anybody from any side of this thing, then feel free. Let's have a discussion down below. I would love to be involved in this. I'd love to hear everybody's side, but I want it to be a conversation. I want it to be a debate. I do not want it to be a shit-talking fest. So with that, I'm going to leave you guys, and I'm going to say thank you very much for watching this video. If you like it, hit the like button and share it with your friends. And I will see you guys in the next video. So game on, bitches.